pretending it's not happening when it is extending a lifelong problem. When people don't know what to do, they resort to making things up. They pretend by nicing something up that is distasteful to them. They justify not doing anything about it by relying on what they have been told. It's for your own safety. It's the best thing we can do for you right now. People give away their freedoms. They stop relying on their free will once they hear those magic words. It's for your own safety, and it's the best thing for you right now. These authority figures don't want people to possess critical thinking. They want people who fall into fear easily, so they just do what they're told. How it works. Having someone else make your decisions and tell you what to do is the protocol for schools and businesses. Having a mind of your own is not in favor. In fact, that will get you into a lot of trouble. So what do you do? Do you go along with the status quo by pretending and following the pack, extending the problem into the future? That's referred to as kicking the can down the road, a term used in the financial world. They find ways to extend the growing problems rather than facing them now. Everyone feels the tension around all this as you witness more and more volatility in the economy. The day is coming when pretending and extending your life away will be all-consuming. It will catch up to anyone who is not thinking for themselves. So what this comes down to, you guys, is extending and pretending your life away. It's postponing your life. It's putting things off that you know here in your gut, here how it feels, that it's not sustainable. It's not going to hold up. Most of all, it doesn't make sense. Something never feels right about what you were told. It's for your own safety. It's the best we can do for you right now. Well, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. That's not enough to be looking out for your best interest, to just go along with that agenda and blindly follow it. And it is catching up to us. Things that are going on right now that are going to be attempted to be forced on to the people is good. People are they're going to push back. They're going to get mad. They're going to rebel. They're going to dig their heels in. They're going to rebel. That's what we're in for. And it's about time. Instead of just blindly following what you're told to do, so you don't get in trouble, or so you're good because you want to be good. Being good is not the goal. Being good is a byproduct of what you do. And no matter what you do, and no matter how good it is that you do, whatever it is that you do, no matter how well you did it, no matter the intention behind it, that was absolutely pure and good, though you will always find people who don't agree with you, who don't see it as the right thing to do. Even they won't see it as good. Okay. Some people will see it as good. Some people won't see it as good. Some people will be offended by the words that you used. Doesn't mean it's not true. Doesn't mean it's not good. It's just that person can't handle reality. They can't handle the truth. So if you're trying to be good, if pretending and extending and pretending your life away resides in you being good, resides in when you were brought up as a little child, a new person, you have to be good. Now be good. Okay. All that kind of programming. If that's what you're really, the motto that you're living by is to be good, that's a bunch of BS. Being good is a byproduct of what you do. And an interpretation of what you do as being good or not varies depending on who's observing you. All right. So don't get hung up on being good. What you need to be is who you are.
I'm not hung up on being good.
You're not?
No.
Were you ever hung up on being good, Ray?
I can't remember. Maybe
Okay.
when I was a little kid, I think I gave it more thought then. But
He didn't want to get in trouble by the nuns.
oh yeah,
Being good was a good thing.
yeah, he'd come down with that ruler and smack you right on the head,
Oh.
or throw an eraser at you. That was a good one.
So Ray, what do you have here?
Well, I was just looking at the insight. You know,
Yeah.
the first line: pretending it's not happening is extending a lifelong problem. This kind of reminds me of the budget, the federal deficit. You know,
True.
I guess today, just a few minutes ago, they finally decided on, well, maybe we should appropriate that money so we can, pay the bills till the end of the year. But I mean, it happens like that all the time. It goes like to the last minute, and then everybody kind of gives in and say, well, yeah, we want to stay in business.
And each year, it seems, Ray, that each
bigger.
year the debt gets bigger, and the problem gets bigger, and they take longer to say, yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and approve that. Added, what is it?
They added aid for the farmers this time. They didn't want to.
They add more debt to the budget.
Sure.
Yeah, they approve more debt.
Yeah.
And that's just kicking the can down the road. At some point, you guys all know, you feel it. You feel it. That's going to catch up to the United States. It's absolutely going to catch up to the world.
Right.
No question about it. You do not want to be one of the people who is a kick the can down the road type of personality, because in your personal life, in your life, the only place that you have control is in your own life. Don't mismanage it like that. Okay.
Yeah, it's not that people don't know what to do. I guess that's part of it.
No, they don't want to do it.
Well,
they don't want
to do it
right,
because they resort to making things up. Well, a lot of them aren't even that clever, making stuff up. They resort to doing the same thing over and over and over.
So you don't have to face it.
Right.
See, that's what this insight's all about.
Accountability.
Extending and pretending your life away is accountability, is responsibility, is facing the music, is laying it down on the paper. On when you write in the journal and you face what's going on, what do you need?
Oh, they're complaining they can't hear me.
I know. We got to get this fixed.
We will.
Yeah.
Buy another one.
Well, okay.
For me, I can have my own.
All right. Okay, so it's way more than that, right? We need a board. Let's get into the mechanics. All right. Okay, so it's about facing what you know. If you take your journal, if you take my journal writing, this journal, and you start telling yourself the truth with 15 minutes a day, one journal entry each day about telling yourself how accountable you are or how you're missing it, okay? You guys need to raise the bar in your own life. You're not seeing it out there in the outer world. You need to do it in your inner world where you have control, all right? But writing it down every day, the guides tell you, write down 15 minutes a day in your journal about what it is in your life that's gotten your attention that day, how it made you feel, and then you're going to have a realization. You're going to know something you didn't know before. And only then can you take the action that's necessary to change this thing about extending and pretending. Okay?
I think people...
Talk louder, Ray.
I think the people aren't afraid of extending their pain. If they wanted it to stop, okay, if they wanted the pain to stop, they wouldn't make stuff up, or they wouldn't choose to extend their pain.
You're okay, but I'm gonna favor them. You'll continue to extend and pretend your pain away when you don't know what to do about it. You will only know what to do about it when you write down what the pain is, so you can get it out of here, okay, and put it on the page. It controls you as long as you haven't purged it. and taking it out of here and put it on the page so then you can see what the heck it is and go, oh, okay. Now that I see it on the page, I wrote it down. I never did that before. I wrote it down. And I see how it makes me feel. And I see what I realize from it. Only then will you know what to do. Until then, you'll keep kicking the can down the road because you haven't looked at the problem. The problem is still in here. That's the problem, that you haven't known how to approach this issue around extending and pretending, kicking the can down the road and not facing what needs to be faced. I get it. I truly get it. I started journaling, you guys. This is called journal writing. I started journal writing when I was 7 years old. I was in a family that was horrible, okay, abusive and angry and abrasive and harsh and everything. All right. And they all worked against me. I was the black sheep. It was writing in my journal that helped me see all this paranormal stuff that was going on in my world and what was going on in my family and in society was the only way I could see what was going on. I could see what was going on, how it made me feel, and only then could I see what I realized from it. Only then did I have sparks of awareness. All right. So I could take an action that on my own, keeping it my secret, I could behave different than everyone around me. I could see things they couldn't see, including my guides, by the way, including them. I could see them and nobody in the family could see any of that. I could go out of body on command whenever I wanted to, right in front of my family, and they never noticed that I was not in my body. I did all kinds of things that were out of the box. Okay, but I let myself have it. It wasn't about being good. It wasn't about being right. It wasn't about following any of the things I was taught. I wasn't taught any of that. I taught it to myself. I told myself the truth. I told myself how it felt, and I told myself what I realized from it. So I had power in this life. Otherwise, I was just like this, going along with the pack like lemmings off the cliff, following everybody else, not having a mind of my own, not having an original thought. That was not me. So I know how this stuff works. I learned it as a kid. And when I see it in the outer world, I just go, just how long is that going to hold up? How much time do we think we have before the whole thing comes crashing down? And we all take, blowback from it, because after all, we are in the world. So how do we protect ourselves from that? What do we do to safeguard ourselves and grow along the way and live the life we intended, the one we know about from when we first came here, the one we remember? Okay, how do we fit all that in under all this pressure? This is how you fit it in. You fit it in by starting to spend 15 minutes investing in you. Because this outer world's going to do what the heck it's going to do. But you need a plan for you. You don't need permission from them. You need to figure it out right here. It'll show up on the pages. It is not hard. In fact, it's fascinating.
I think the postponing of an activity or a decision is a way to manage the pain in the present moment.
That's right. It's to put it off a little longer, just a little longer. I can't deal with it today, not right now. You heard people and see them act like that. Oh, I can't be in that energy. Well, you are in that energy. You're in the physical world. Here's the physical world. Here's the world you came from. Okay. This part of you starts to whine and do nothing about this. Okay. You are in the physical world. So you have these two worlds to bring together to work this out. It's a little complex, but you signed up for this. Remember that you did. Just because the financial systems choose to kick the can down the road doesn't mean you should. or that it will help you in any way. They should be a model for you about what not to do, especially as you see this whole thing start to, and it will, we're going to see ramifications from that over the next 8 years
Yeah, it's
in the outer world.
The financial story of adding more debt each year and not worrying about it. I don't know. Well, if you look back not too long ago, they printed hundreds of billions of dollars to bail out all the banks.
In the
So-
08.
So what? So run up the national debt as far as you want to and print a bunch of money and pay it off.
They have a lot of solutions for themselves, but
Yeah.
they don't have any solutions for you.
No, they don't.
They have a lot of solutions for themselves to keep the stockholders happy, to keep the people that are in power happy, and all that. It's rare that it supports you. All right, and all these recent, what are they called? Not bailouts, but from this year, where stimulus money people got. Do you think there's not going to be some blowback from that, some ramification about that? You guys, there's going to be huge ramification from that. And we're going to see the blowback from that hit every one of you personally next year. It's going to start showing up then.
Yeah, it's people's desire to own stuff.
That's going to make you a target.
Right. Any kind of stuff they can tax will have a stuff tax.
Yeah, anything they can see.
Yeah.
So if they can see it, it's not yours. Think about it like that. It's a big illusion. So you may as well get around to working on yourself, because they can't take that from you. Okay? It's the one thing they can't take from you is you. So following their lead, like, being scared, they're playing on your fear, getting anyone to go along with them, and you're going to die if you don't do this and all this. I mean, they've gone to extremes this year to scare the heck out of everybody. They've outdid themselves.
Right.
And you guys have to sit back and go, wait a second, this is a freak show. How did this get to be so loud and so wild? Is this for real? Okay, you see this image around me? This is like a big freak show. It's a big, it's a vortex that sucks you in if you're not careful. Be careful. Keep an eye on you. And then you can see what's going on out there for what it is. But you can't, when you're drawn into it, you can't see it when you're in it, you guys. You're going to hear me say that all the time. You've got to remove yourself from it, and definitely from the fear. And definitely from the doubt.
Yeah, people always go through something that was less than desirable, and they look back and say, why didn't I see that? Why couldn't I see that was happening?
You didn't want to see it.
At the time, that's it. Yeah, you tend to see only what you
I'll tell you what.
want to see.
I'll tell you what you're going to learn to do is you're going to learn to be able to handle the truth better. The truth isn't always the way you want it to be.
Right.
The truth is the truth. It's just as simple and clean and pure. The guides always come through and they say, we come in truth and love. We see them as the same thing. Why? Why do they see truth and love as the same thing? Because the truth isn't something that gets manipulated so you'll feel good and you'll be happy. It's nothing like that. The truth isn't something that's supposed to scare the heck out of you and you're terrified and scared. That's ridiculous. The truth is the truth. It's just true. Okay. When somebody tells you the truth, whatever you need to know at the time, when somebody actually tells you the truth, it's been a long time since somebody told you the truth, because they're afraid to tell you the truth because you can't handle the truth. And they know it because they can't handle the truth. Everybody's in agreement that the truth is too much. Oh, don't scare me. Oh, don't tell me anything bad. Oh, and all this hype and this ridiculous response to something as simple and pure as the truth. As soon as you guys can handle the truth, you can see it, you can analyze it, you write it down, you write down your own truth. You dare to actually do that. You write down your own truth and follow this every day for 15 minutes a day. In just 1 month of doing that every day, you're going to be surprised at how much truth you can handle, how much more aware you're going to be. You can't be conscious. You cannot be conscious if you're afraid of the truth. If you can't handle the truth, you forfeit your consciousness. You're just going along with the pack. You don't belong to yourself. You're not present. You're not here. So of course you're going to be scared. I'd be terrified if I wasn't present. You guys.
Okay, this whole "don't tell me anything bad" thing, that's kind of turned inside out, because people say, well, don't tell me anything bad, but they gravitate to watching the news. It's all bad.
They like the bad. They like the scary details.
They do. They like conflict. They like to hear that it happened somewhere over there. It didn't happen to me. Oh, that's the good news. But if there was a nightly news story, a news show every night that only talked about good news, nobody would watch it.
Well, you know what would be interesting if they had a nightly news channel that told the truth? That would be refreshing. That had no bias associated with it.
Or drug commercials.
Everything has a bias on it now.
Yeah.
So how can you trust it? You'd be crazy to trust it. You can't trust that. A bias, somebody's agenda, somebody's opinion. So what? That's your opinion. That's an interesting opinion, but it's not my truth. That's always what you need to ask yourself. Who benefits? Most of the time, it's not you. So it's not your truth. Think for yourself, you guys. It's critical that you do that now. It's so timely that you don't postpone that any longer. Don't kick that can down the road any longer. And I'm telling you, you can't do this on your own. You cannot do this on your own. You need help doing it. This is your lifeline to figuring this out, the truth. And when you see that truth, you write it down, and you start to review what you wrote, and and you're going to cry. You're going to get mad. You're going to feel all the things that you haven't felt before. And that's the love. You're going to know that's the love. You're going to know that you're being looked out for by something greater than the blowback from the outer world, from the propaganda and the agendas from the outer world, the confusion and the flat out lies. Okay. So that's what this is about. This is about getting down to the truth. If you can handle the truth, you will no longer be extending and pretending your life away. It's impossible. You won't be curled up in a corner, terrified for you and your kids and no, life won't. Do not let this world push you into a corner and make you small. You didn't come here to be small. You came in with enormous energy. It's time to live it. It's time to be it. Okay? There's nothing to be afraid of.
This whole thing with truth and love, and the guys say they're the same thing, and they're the same thing because of the way they feel. So feeling loved, I guess, is so rare when you're watching the news.
That's true.
Okay, people don't know.
They don't expect to feel loved anymore.
Well, people tell somebody else, "I love you," but unless that person feels loved, it's a lie.
Okay, I'll tell you. Here's a total opposite, so you guys can sink your teeth into this. You have an animal. That animal will always tell you the truth. They'll tell you when they're hungry. They'll tell you when they're tired. They'll tell you when they want to play. That's all the truth. It's a moment-to-moment thing. They live in the moment. They really have this thing down. And when you're with your animal, you feel the love. You feel that love. So when you weigh that against the world we live in and the people in it, That's what you don't see much of. You don't see that purity, that moment to moment, being in the moment type of energy. You don't see that honesty, and you don't feel the love. So when you think about your animal and you weigh it against the world that you're in, you know, in when this whole thing happened this year, and they shut down the economy, and they ordered everyone, a mandate for everyone to be in place, stay in place. The animal shelters were cleaned out. They couldn't get rid of these animals before that. These animal shelters have been absolutely vacated since that happened. And you want to know why? For it's exactly what I'm talking about. People could finally, in their isolation and their aloneness, they reached out for the real thing.
They reached out for love.
They reached out for the truth. These little animals are the real thing. They don't know how to be anything but the truth. They don't manipulate you. They don't know how to do that. And the love that you get from them is unconditional. So people reached right into the heart of the matter to feel something they hadn't felt in a long, long time. So there's, as awkward as this has been this year, there's been some really good things that have come out of it like that. Now we just have to take it out of that quiet, safe place, like in our home where we're safe, and we can love our little animals, but no one has to see us vulnerable like that and all that. We can take that into the outer world piece by piece as we learn who we are, as we write down about how we're doing and what's going on with us, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Nobody sees this but you. By the way, you can get this on Amazon. This is the journal, the companion journal to my flagship book, Guided. All right. This is an important book. And I actually have a training course, 2 training courses where I teach this. So you guys cannot miss it. You absolutely can't miss it. I take your personal situations one-on-one with me, and we get into where the issues are, and I get you right through it. You do not get hung up, and you're now free to move forward and believe in yourself. Believe in yourself.
What's interesting is I listened to some of your coaching sessions, and one thing I find that the people say once they get it, it's like the skies open up and all of a sudden they get it. And what do they always say? Well, that was so easy. Why didn't I see that before? Why didn't I get that before?
It is easy.
It is easy.
It's so easy. A baby can do it.
Yeah, baby did do it.
It's so easy. A baby did do it. I learned this at 20 months old. I bumped into it. Okay. I mean, I'm not smart enough to sit there at 20 months old, or I couldn't reason enough to figure something like that out. I literally bumped into it through fear when my mom almost killed me at 20 months old. Okay. So you guys, I have experience with this. There's nothing in this world that can hurt you. It's all make believe. You guys you've been sold on a story that's a lie. All right. So don't kick that can down the road anymore. Quit missing your life. Extending and pretending your life away will cost you your life. It will cost you the reason you came here. And the instant you're released from this world and you're back on the other side where you came from before you got here, the instant you're there, you're going to know if you performed on what you came here to do or not. Instantly, within a second of the time that you're out of here, you're going to know. Okay. You guys, don't miss your life. You want to finally, when it's time to be released from this, you want to have accomplished the mission you came here to accomplish. You want to go, job well done. That's what you want. That isn't pretending and extending your life away. It's pretty far from it. It's the opposite of it.
Okay, so let's turn this around. If love and truth are the same thing, then lies and no love are the same thing.
Yeah.
So people who lie don't feel love when they're communicating.
Right. They're not delivering it with love.
Right.
They've got an intention that's not love based. It's
Right.
some other thing, but
Okay.
it's not based in love.
Here's a good example.
Okay.
I just read an article that talked about a study that was done that showed almost 40% of people lie on their resume.
What?
Can you believe that? They actually lie to get a job.
Why do they do that, Ray?
They want the money. They want the job.
Okay. Agenda. The person has an agenda. Every time you catch somebody lying, it's because they want you to do something that favors them and not you.
Right.
It's not a fair exchange. It's somebody trying to get more than they deserve. They have an agenda. They're coming in with an agenda. And that's not playing fair. They're kicking a can down the road, extending and pretending their life away, thinking they can fool people along the way to get away with that. That's what they think. Is that any way to live? That's not, you guys, you can't take the money with you when you leave this world. None of that stuff matters. What matters is that when you came into this life, when it's time to be released from it, that you became more than you were when you leave than when you got here. That's the whole reason you came here. Everything else is an illusion. Oh, the new car, the house, the new relationship, the kids, that's all places for you to have advantages, to learn who you are more, to achieve what you came here to achieve. Those are all opportunities. Those are all the cards you were dealt. In fact, that'll be the next one we're talking about next week, that you were dealt to actually be able to pull it off.
This whole thing about the lying, people lie because they want to get more than they deserve.
Right. They're cheaties. They're cheaters.
Right. What they don't realize is that when you contribute, you get rewards.
They come to you naturally.
It's like they appear out of nowhere.
It's true. It's because you get more than you expected when you enter into it with the right intention, where everybody wins. Okay, where your intention when you come in is from truth and love. In other words, love. It's bigger than you. That's what love is. When you think about it from where your guides see you, it's bigger than you. When you just want it for yourself, that's not love. That's not bigger than you. That's very, very finite.
That's a good example of why people, they lie to get a job because they need the money. And then once they get a job like that, they only do enough work, the bare minimum amount of work, to make that amount of money to keep their job. Okay, so that's why the productivity of most companies is just abysmal. Everybody working there is only working
for the money.
And when they think they've done enough, they just quit working.
Okay, you hear people use the term, they didn't have their heart in their work.
Right.
Okay. They weren't connected. See, the heart is a connection. And when you're connected, you are in that truth and love energy. It's bigger than you. So the whole point is, it's not about the money. Why would you even work for that company or start that company if it's your own company? Why would you even do it if it didn't scream with purpose coming out of you? Okay, this is the opposite of extending and pretending your life away. That's kidding. The only person that kids is you. The only person that fools is you. You can't do that. You can't cheat yourself like that. You came here to be big, not to be small and minuscule and conniving and sneaky and small. Okay, that's what that is, you guys. Fear is big in that little world. Okay, that's the driver. That's what keeps you stuck in it. Okay, but if you never signed up for it, you would never have to deal with it. Don't do that. Let yourself do something that means more than you, that's bigger than you, that calls you from your heart. And if it's not true, it doesn't pull that out of you, that love, that unconditional love and truth from you. It doesn't come from your essence, your soul. It's the wrong thing to do. Quit cheating yourself. Quit extending and pretending your life away with nonsense, with a life that is superficial. It doesn't mean anything at the end of the day.
Yeah, people. I find very few people who love their job, that they're actually doing the job because they can make a contribution to the world, to make the world a better place. Those are few
That's
and far
right.
between. So if truth and love, the truth and love zone, you love what you do because it serves a purpose. It's service to others.
It matters.
It matters. What you do matters. So that's the truth and love zone. Well, the lies in the no love zone.
Selfishness.
Right.
Me.
Right. And that's why people, so the opposite of love is hate. So that's why people say, I hate my job.
Well, that's why there's so much conflict in the world. It's screaming at us, you guys. It's only loud now because it's time to heal this, to stop this.
Right.
It's a behavior that's unproductive on every front, every single front. It only reinforces the negative.
A lot of these people who said they hated their job with this lockdown, and maybe they're working from home. What a lot of them realize that they would never ever want to go back into a situation where they had to work in an office around for a job, in a job they hate, around people they don't like. Micromanagers having to drive
that's the part of the extending and pretending their life away that they're still living. Right. Even if they like what they do, that whole environment is ruining it for them.
Yeah. And so they start looking at these ways where, well, if I could find a job where I could work from home, how can I save money? I can save money on commuting, the gas and the expense of clothes, buying work clothes. What else? They could save. I could save money not having to eat lunch out every day.
Most of all, you'd have the peace of mind without all the interruptions and the distractions and the negativity coming at you on a moment-to-moment basis. And to think clearly and to do things for the right reasons. That's what you'd have time for. All right. I'm going to say the next 30 years, I think is what we read, Ray and I. 50% of the economy, of the private, mom and pop, everyday people economy is going to be gig.
Yeah, the gig economy.
That means that they're not working for somebody else. They're self-employed, independent contractors, or they own their own business. And they work for the greater good. They work from something that's awesome, that they always wanted the privilege of doing, and they appreciate having it. Now, the money that they used to make, it's not as important as their peace of mind, their sanity, their happiness, the control they have over their life, the purpose in what they do, and that they have control over their destiny, not some employer or staff, other people that work there trying to cut your throat and cause you to lose your job. With all this, this is outdated, you guys. So this whole thing about the office and, the way business used to be done changed in a matter of months.
Right.
This was meant to be. Don't doubt the wisdom of this. Now, I'm not saying that this is all on the up and up and the coronavirus is real or not real and you should wear a mask or not, or I'm not saying any of that. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying that there's a reason that this went down so that we could all wake up to the possibilities.
The possibility of change rather than changing yourself, rather than forced change. It's
that's right.
The lies versus the hate. It's if you're sitting at home and working from home and you can figure out that, wow, I've cut 20% of my expenses.
Most of
off,
all,
I can live on.
Right.
I still make the same amount of money I can live on. So I could take a job that pays that amount of money.
I could take less.
Right.
I could maybe even take a chance on, while I keep this job, to start launching my own little gig. Okay. And start my own thing on the side, start my little gig hustle, my side hustle, so that in a year from now or 5 years from now, I could actually go out on my own, because I've worked double time, keeping this job going so I could pay my bills. And while I was getting this off the ground, that's it, you guys. If you're living in a life where you're extending and pretending your life away, you have choices. You can, it's as easy as stepping out of it, writing down what's going on with you so you can see what the problems are. And if you need my help, hire me, okay? And write these things down so you can begin to see your truth glaring back at you, your truth, the truth that is you, the reason you're here, your purpose, the reason you came here. You guys, what else is there? There really isn't anything else. Everything else is just window dressing along the way.
Yeah, the whole work/happiness continuum is changing right in front of your eyes.
It is really going quick.
Yeah.
We're doing a webinar this weekend, Ray. Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
This is all moving so fast, even for us. I mean, it's awesome. We love this energy. All right. Just, you know what it is? Chapter 1 of Guided, First Contact. First Contact, when they first came to me and showed up at 20 months old when they saved my life. First Contact, the merry-go-round dream. And that's the dream where the merry-go-round is going and it starts to speed up and it starts to speed up. You guys have to read the story. It's fascinating. It's my true life story. And we're on that merry-go-round and it's speeding up. This is a prophetic book. Turns out that it's prophetic. I just wrote about my life, but it was pointing me this way all along. You guys all have the same guidance. I'm the one that points it out to you when you hire me. I show you how to do this. I show you how to get there. I show you the fast of it to get you there, to get you moving that way without dragging a leg, without struggling through it. Okay. You don't need to struggle, you guys. Those days are over. All right. So, okay, I'm going to get on with this.
All right.
Okay, September 29th, I will be streaming live on my Facebook page, my Facebook timeline, and on my YouTube channel. Use the search term Linda Deer. This will be a Q&A and commentary for next Tuesday's Insight, published in Linda's Weekly Guided Insights with me, Ray, and my spirit guides at 6 p.m. Pacific time. In Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, my spirit guides will be talking about playing the cards you were dealt. People reason that others get better cards, get a better hand of cards to play life. Some people are born into rich families who never seem to struggle, while others are born into poverty and struggle their entire life. Let's look at the cards you were dealt. Are there any good or bad hands? No, there are only the cards you were dealt. It's what you do with them that makes the difference. When I first came into this life, I came in with some pretty devastating cards.
A lot of people would have folded there.
I had a hard hand to play handed to me. But you know what? I'm going to explain to you how that works. And that every one of us, there's no accidents, you guys. All right. We all signed up for whatever we signed up for. It's going to be a good session. So to start getting Linda's Weekly Guided Insights delivered to your email box each Tuesday, sign up. It's free. Look for the link in the description of this video. Training with Linda. One-on-one training with Linda Deer and her guided journal writing system. Look for the link in the description of this video. And this is the system. Guided right here, and these 2 books. These are all my books that I wrote to support you guys on your journey to consciousness and course correction in your life, to get your life turned around once and for all. I don't just teach you how to do this in terms of how you get there, but this is to keep you on your path. All right. Because I know I've seen people get on their path and fall off it, on it and off it. I've watched this and observed this, and this will not be happening to you. The upcoming webinar entitled Linda Live, The Light Beings, Nothing is as it appears to be. Everything will change over the coming months. On September 26th, this Saturday, the light beings will point out the truth versus the propaganda, so you are not drawn into an agenda. The next few months will test you. You definitely want to check this out. Look for the link to this webinar in the description of this video. There's a video trailer you can watch, and then you could sign up. This Saturday, September 26th. Wait a minute.
Yep.
Did I put that in there twice? I put it in there twice. Okay. So, okay. Okay. So that's what we're doing this Saturday. Usually on Saturdays, what I do is I read a chapter from Guided. But this Saturday, the last Saturday of the month, we do a webinar. And this webinar is all about the guides. We're going to close the session tonight with the guides closing message to you all. But it's about the guides talk to you about what to expect, what's coming. We don't even know what they're going to say until the webinar happens and they come through and speak to you. It's the first time we hear it too. So you don't want to miss that. It's this Saturday, and it's $29, and it's an hour long of fabulous information from those that can see what we cannot. The light beings. The light beings. All right, so we're going to close the session for tonight's insight, extending and pretending your life away. And here they go.
Think about it. You extend the pain in your life only to be rewarded with more pain. After a while, you would think that you would have enough pain for a lifetime. Pain shows up where there is an absence of love. If truth is love and lies are hate, then this explains how you live your life. If you live a life of contribution and service to others, you get rewards. If you have a personal agenda, a self-serving life, you get regrets.
That's really what happens. You see people with all this money, and they wonder why they're not happy, and then they get closer to when it's time for them to move on. And really what happens, the reality of it is they've neglected their life so much that their relatives are all really just waiting for them to die so they can take their money.
Yeah.
That's sad. That's gone on forever and ever and ever, you guys. When really what the people wanted around them, they wanted to spend time with their mom or their dad or whoever that was in the family. They just wanted to hang out and be regular people and live in truth and love. Okay?
Okay.
All right, you guys. We will see you.
Saturday.
We will see you this weekend at the
Saturday.
webinar.
Yeah.
Go to my webinar, lindadeer.com, and go to live events, and you'll see it right there. Sign up.